the worst day in the history of life was dawning. The killer came from the south at a sharp angle, hurtling toward Earth at 3 times the speed of a bullet. The impact carried more explosive power than 10 billion atomic bombs. For over 20 minutes, the entire Earth became hotter than a broiling oven as molten debris rained down, igniting global wildfires. The resulting earthquakes are thought to have triggered volcanic eruptions around the globe, blanketing Western India in lava. The final blow came as giant clouds of dust shrouded the Earth, starving life of sunlight for up to 15 years. Charred landscapes turned to frozen ones. In the aftermath, 75% of all species went extinct. But a lucky few somehow made it through. Crocodiles, which can go months without food, took to the water and were mostly unscathed, feeding off dead matter that washed downriver. Birds with teeth went extinct, but those with beaks used them as multi-tools to access hardy food sources like seeds. Most critically, our tiny shrew-like mammal ancestors survived by doing what they did best: hiding out in the safety of the shadows. How would we fare compared to them if we faced the same apocalypse? What if the same asteroid struck again, in the same place, at the same angle? Would humans cling on, or go the way of the dinosaurs? In a flash, Central America and the southern United States would be vaporized by the blast. A 100 million people would perish within seconds. The sound of the impact alone would be enough to kill anyone standing 1,500 kilometers away. Within minutes, magnitude 9 to 11 earthquakes would ripple across the Earth, stronger than any in recorded history. Giant 100-meter-tall tsunamis would scour the coasts and flood up to 100 kilometers inland, enough to drown over 3 billion people. The bulk of debris would fall on the United States, putting hundreds of millions more at risk. For anyone far enough away, the quaking would send a violent message: to get underground before the molten rains came. There are millions of fallout shelters scattered around the world, including hundreds of thousands in Switzerland alone. And underground cities around the world like Derinkuyu in Turkey and Nushabad in Iran could provide safe haven for millions. Between these and other makeshift shelters like mines and subways, it's conceivable that billions of people could survive the initial effects of the blast. But even assuming they weren't destroyed in the violent earthquakes, Few of these shelters are designed to be self-sufficient for periods of months or years. Fiery debris and acid rain would fall from the sky for years after the impact, making any open-air activity possibly deadly for long periods. Only a small number of high-tech doomsday bunkers built by world governments and the ultra-rich would offer long-term protection. The Raven Rock Mountain Complex in Pennsylvania, maintained by the US government, is said to contain 3-story buildings and its own water reservoirs, with enough space to house thousands of people. But the exact contents are unknown to the public. Other major nations are believed to have similar contingency bunkers, making it possible that major world governments would continue to exist, at least in the short term. The ultra-rich have recently taken up citizenship in New Zealand, which is geographically ideal for self-sufficiency, and numerous luxury bunkers have been constructed across the country, some with years of provisions. But the biggest challenge to survival would be the long game.